Prime Minister Netanyahu insists he respects President Barack Obama, but adds,
"It is my obligation to see to the security of Israel. Therefore, we strongly oppose the agreement being formulated with Iran and the major powers, which would endanger our very existence."
Vice President Joe Biden and several Democratic lawmakers will not attend Mr. Netanyahu's address Tuesday, and the Prime Minister's itinerary does not include a visit to the White House. Even so, Secretary of State John Kerry is downplaying any lasting damage to U.S.-Israeli relations.
The Prime Minister is welcome in the United States at any time. We have an unparalleled close security relationship with Israel.
But whatever case the Prime Minister makes, it will not shake the Obama administration's belief that negotiations with Iran are worth pursuing.
We have slowed Iran's, even set back its nuclear program, and we are going to continue now to the next step to see. I can't promise you we can, but we are going to test whether or not diplomacy can prevent this weapon from being created, so you don't have to turn to additional measures, including the possibility of a military confrontation.
Speaker Boehner's invitation to a foreign leader without consulting the White House is an unusual and some would say inflammatory move. Boehner has been unapologetic.
I wanted the Prime Minister to come here. There's a serious threat facing the world, and radical Islamic terrorists are not going to go away. These are important messages that the Congress needs to hear and the American people need to hear.
In Israel, a divided public.
America is a country that's for freedom of speech, so I think the Prime Minister has a right to say what he wants to say, like everybody else has a right to say that they want to say.
I think it's not good for us with the relationship with the United States. I think we have to be in good condition with the United States. Our friend, only friend probably in the world, so we have to be very gentle with them.
The perception of a U.S.-Israeli rift has not gone unnoticed in Iran, where Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif accused Mr. Netanyahu of scaremongering and standing in the way of peace. Michael Bowman, VOA News, Washington.
The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is on a controversial visit right now to Washington, D.C. He's hoping to put the brakes on any potential nuclear deal with Iran. The Israeli leader left Tel Aviv.
I'm departing to Washington, D.C. on a crucial and even historic...
Welcome to Washington.
Thank you.
It's been a long time.
Prime Minister, welcome back to the United States. Thank you very much.
But not everyone's happy about his arrival. But that mission has angered many in Washington. Demonstrators chanting angry slogans have gathered outside a venue where Netanyahu is due to address a pro-Israel lobby group. Police had to drag some of the protesters out of the building. While the Israeli PM was invited to the US by Republican leaders, a step that was not endorsed by the president. For their part, Democrats have urged Netanyahu to postpone his speech in Congress, or at least to deliver it behind closed doors, but he's refused. Paula Sleer next takes a look at how American-Israeli relations have become more strained of late.
Obama won't be dealing with the Israeli premier. Netanyahu might be on American soil, but the two leaders won't be meeting. Not that they liked each other to begin with.
We have a prime minister that is a Republican in his body and soul.
And when the Republican Congress invited the Republican senator from Israel, as some inside Israel jokingly referred to Netanyahu, they bypassed the American president. Party politics at its best.
The Republicans are using it to try to beat the Democrats over the head.
For Netanyahu, it's a photo op just 2 weeks before his country's elections. On the surface, Netanyahu wants to warn Washington about Iran's nuclear program. But many fear Netanyahu's also playing a game with U.S. domestic politics to undermine and pressure Obama into changing his foreign policy. Obama wants to give negotiations a chance, but Netanyahu believes the deal on the table will allow Tehran within a year to create the bomb. American-Israeli relations are at a new low.
They have very, very different ways of looking at the world. For President Obama, his formative experience was working in Chicago as a community organizer, having an optimistic view of the way human beings can respond to change. For Benjamin Netanyahu, one of his formative experiences was sitting on his father's lap and having his father tell him about the evils of the Spanish Inquisition.
And ever since, Netanyahu has earned his place as Israel's doomsday leader.
And it's then that the Ayatollahs will show their true face and unleash their aggressive fanaticism on the entire world.
Not all Israelis support their prime minister's heavy-handedness, while at the same time, 3 in 4 Israelis don't trust Obama to stop Iranian nukes.
I think this Iran agreement that they're working on right now would be very difficult to undo and can lead to really very bad, harmful consequences.
But thanks to the political wrangling and point scoring, Israel might just find itself without its closest ally in preparing for what Netanyahu believes might just be its biggest test. Paul Islia, RT, Tel Aviv.
You may not have heard. See, I'll be speaking in Congress tomorrow. You know, never has so much been written about a speech that hasn't been given. And I'm not going to speak today about the content of that speech, but I do want to say a few words about the purpose of that speech. First, let me clarify what is not the purpose of that speech. My speech is not intended to show any disrespect to President Obama or the esteemed office that he holds. I have great respect for both. I deeply appreciate all that President Obama has done for Israel: security cooperation, intelligence sharing, supported the UN, and much more, some things that I, as Prime Minister of Israel, cannot even divulge to you because it remains in the realm of the confidences that are kept between an American president and an Israeli Prime Minister. I am deeply grateful for this support, and so should you be. My speech is also not intended to inject Israel into the American partisan debate. An important reason why our alliance has grown stronger, decade after decade, is that it has been championed by both parties, and so it must remain. Both Democratic and Republican presidents have worked together with friends from both sides of the aisle in Congress to strengthen Israel and our alliance between our two countries. And working together, they've provided Israel with generous military assistance and missile defense spending. We've seen how important that is just last summer. Working together, they've made Israel the first free trade partner of America 30 years ago and its first official strategic partner last year. They've backed Israel in defending itself at war and in our efforts to achieve a durable peace with our neighbors. Working together has made Israel stronger. Working together has made our alliance stronger. And that's why the last thing that anyone who cares about Israel, the last thing that I would want, is for Israel to become a partisan issue. And I regret that some people have misperceived my visit here this week as doing that. Israel has always been a bipartisan issue. Israel should always remain a bipartisan issue. In an unstable Middle East, Israel is the one anchor of stability. In a region of shifting alliances, Israel is America's unwavering ally. You've condemned the Iranian regime for its genocidal aims. History will salute you, America. Israel has no better friend than America, and America has no better friend than Israel. We stand together to defend democracy, to advance peace, to fight terrorism. I speak on behalf of the Jewish people and the Jewish state when I say to you, representatives of America, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your unwavering support for Israel. Thank you for ensuring that the flame of freedom burns bright throughout the world. May God bless all of you, and may God forever bless the United States of America.